Question 4. What is your nutrition plan for race day?
For race day, I'll probably stick to more or less my normal cross-country nutrition strategy. I'll race with Clif blocks in my pocket. I'll probably have a whole package warming up just to get some electrolytes before the start. And typically I race with 2 block packs. I'll probably only eat 1.5 of them, but just always have a little extra. It's better to have too much than not enough. And then drink wise, I tend to stick with water. It's easier on my stomach, but I will have some sort of electrolyte mix in the middle of the race just to get through it, get some sugar in you.
Say having a normal breakfast, which is usually pancakes and yogurt. And then I like to eat 3 hours before an event. So I'll have probably rice and eggs and maybe toast. That's anything that's really easy on the stomach. It's so hard to eat before a race. And just try to get in as many calories as I can, because typically when you're nervous, you feel nauseous. So it's hard to get those calories down. Sorry about that. And then during the race, I'm going to try and eat a gel like every 20 minutes or so.
During the warm-up, I'll probably just pedal around for 20 minutes and I'll sip on a scratch mix just to get some sodium in, some carbs, maybe take a gel. And then each lap I will have in the feed zone a SIS electrolyte gel, which is 22 grams of carbs, I think, and then a bottle half full of scratch hydration mix, just to keep topped up on electrolytes. Hydration is a big factor at altitude, and you can, excuse me, you can get dehydrated a little easier. So I was focusing on electrolytes and still shooting for 80 to 100 grams of carbs per hour. I'll go by feel on whether I'll carry that bottle. I'll have it half full in the feed zone. The plan going in is probably just to chug as much of that as possible through the feed zone stretch and chuck it. It's a long 8-minute climb to start every lap. And after that, there's not really much room to drink anyway. So we're doing roughly 20-ish, low 20-minute laps. So that'll be enough fluids for me.
Carbs. Just eating lots of carbs. Yeah. It's interesting because this is a long lap. So it's a little bit different than a lot of the times we're getting a nutrition hand up, maybe every 8 minutes or less. So this time we might not be getting hand ups more than every 25 minutes. So I think I'm going to focus a little bit more on drink mix than I typically do. And then I'll supplement that also with some standard goo gels, and of course, pancakes before the race. So, at altitude, your body can utilize those carbohydrates, or it uses up more carbohydrates. So really just having that in my mind and knowing like, hey, I need to be on top of this, whether I want to or not, because that nutritional or that hunger response is diminished as well. So really being intellectual rather than listening to my body.
I don't have anything super structured for the whole day, but we ride our races at 5:30 p.m. So kind of have the whole day to eat. Breakfast, probably oatmeal, kind of do that. And then maybe pancakes for lunch. I don't know. And then I'm going to say probably go like rice and eggs for a late lunch around 2:30, 3 o'clock. And then coming into the race, I'll usually, like during my warm up or just leading into it, we'll go through a pack of, or a sleeve of chews, kind of just take two of those at a time through that hour leading into the race. And then we'll do a gel 15 or 20 minutes before, kind of once I finish the warm up, just to top off any carbs there. And then during the race, I'm shooting for about 75 grams of carb per hour. So mixing that's kind of looks like about 55 from drink mix. I'm using the Carbo Rocket 333 or Half Evil stuff, which is like 100, it's like 20 or 25 grams of carb per scoop. And then I mix that with their lighter, 2 scoops of that, and then 1 of their lighter drink mix, which is flavored. So I do the unflavored mix and then put 1 small scoop to give it a little flavor. And then 1 gel, probably a gel going into lap 2, and then 1 going into lap 4, just to keep things topped off. And I think we're going to do 5 laps. I don't know 100%, but they're about 20-minute laps from looking at 2 years ago. So look at doing about half a bottle per lap, and try and finish that, like drink that as quick as I can, because doing 8 minutes at LT VO2 is not super conducive to getting anything down. So try and get as much through the feed zone, where it's flat, and then be able to climb from there.
I've actually been experimenting with that a little bit recently, because I've actually been having some stomach issues earlier this year at some of the World Cup races. But I'll have a big dinner night before, kind of as much as I can eat. Usually some carb heavy, protein heavy, definitely some veggies, but not a ton of veggies, because they kind of stick around in your system and are harder to digest. But still just a pretty balanced, normal night before meal. I'm not super picky about what I have the night before, like a lot of people are. But morning of the race, it depends on when I'm racing. If it's an afternoon race, I'll eat a fairly normal breakfast in the morning. If I'm racing later in the afternoon, and then 2.5 hours before, I'll just have a bowl of just some white rice with a little olive oil, a little salt, and then that's it. I'll have maybe a goo 15-20 minutes before the start, but that 2.5 hour mark, I'll have that just small meal, kind of that pre-race meal. But yeah, up here altitude, your body's burning through carbs a lot faster than normally. So I'll be running mix in all my bottles, high sugars, high carbs in all my bottles, and then probably about every 30 minutes supplementing that also with the gel.
It is the same as always. I'm not changing anything for this. I don't like to change anything on race day. But I think for this race, especially, it's going to be super important for hydration, and just like throughout the week and on race day. And not just water, like making sure you're taking in those electrolytes at that elevation. Like, it's super important. So, one thing I learned in Puerto Rico when we were there for Pan Am Champs earlier this year, it's super hot there, and we discovered Pedialyte Otter Pops. So I'm going to try to find some of those. And yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, all of us have our routines, but mine is rice and eggs the night before. It's just super easy to digest, and it's a good source of carbohydrate. The morning of, pancakes. I'm on the bandwagon. I use Bob's Red Mill. And then since we race in the afternoon, I'll do pancakes again at lunch. And then for caffeine leading up to the race, I'm actually using Run Gum. They're extra strength, 200 milligrams of caffeine. And then I warm up with 12 ounces of Red Bull. That's like the perfect amount of carbohydrate and caffeine on top of that for me. Starting the race, I do Cis Gel every 20 minutes, and I'll probably have Hammer Fizz electrolyte tabs in my bottles. That's kind of my go-to for XCO events.
Yeah. Instead of taking some solid foods, it'll be 100% gels and hydration mix. For a 90-minute out, it might be 100-minute. I think this race was a little bit longer last go around, but probably 2 or 3 gels and some hydration mixes is what it will come down to. A bit of caffeine in there about halfway through, and probably just water on the last lap or two. And it's more about like refreshing the mouth and maybe spraying down your neck rather than hydration at that point.
probably do like half bottles every lap. It seems, my guess is we'll do 6 laps or so. So I think that way you're not carrying a full bottle of that climb every time, and you have the goal of getting the feed zone with an empty bottle. And that way you can chuck the bottle, get a fresh one, your lid's clean, it's not, the water's not hot. That's normally kind of my go-to strategy. And sometimes I'll tape gels to the bottle. Sometimes I put in my pocket. It just kind of depends on where I want to eat the goo. But yeah, pretty simple.
If you like this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up.
If you didn't like this video, you can give it a thumbs down, but let us know what you would have done differently in the comments below.
If you want to see more of these videos, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you want to become a faster cyclist, check out TrainerRoad.com.
Do it.